Back in 2019, I was reading books with my 15-year-old, and we would read together and discuss the books, our own little book club. And in this YA, very popular book, the main characters went into this dance hall and noted that the people dancing looked like they were having an orgy. And though the book was touted as being no spice, both my 15-year-old and I were like not impressed with the way this was described. Now, my son is a romantic. He does not care for romance in anything he reads. He just wants a good, gritty book. So I thought, well, I'm a dyslexic math teacher. I'm sure I could write a book. I have no idea why I thought this. I've always hated English. Well, not the language. Well, maybe the language. I'm dyslexic. But I never liked English classes or the act of writing. But I've always loved telling stories. That's how I teach my math classes. So I came up with this idea of the daughter of a werewolf pack. And originally she went to Africa and got in a kerfuffle. And then I started writing it, and I spent maybe 3 or 4 days trying to figure out how to get this to work. And I was like, can I figure out another place besides Africa? Because I've never been to Africa, and you should write what you know. So then I switched it to Florida, because I've been to Florida a few times, and writing about Florida is always fun. So then I switched it to Florida. So then the book started happening, and my brain was always saying, slow down your writing, because I write really fast. I can usually write a book in 1 to 2 weeks. Yes, I have written several books in 5 to 7 days, and I have only a few times taken over a month to write a book. So I wrote this book with the hiccups and the start overs with the research of Africa and switching it to Florida and all of that. It took me about 2.5 weeks to get this whole book written. Now, Wolf Healer, that was the book, was not the same Wolf Healer that is published today, because that was a 55K book. And I had no idea what I was doing, and no one but my son knew I was writing the book, and he really liked it. And then I sent it to a friend of mine who graduated in math education with me years earlier, who then became a librarian because she decided she didn't want to teach math. And she read it, and she said, oh, when you get this published, I'll put it in my library. And I was like, no idea what this even meant. These words meant nothing to me. And the confusion and all of that was behind me trying to figure out how to go from having this 55K book to a published 90K book is why I always help new authors. There's so much out there, and it is really easy to help somebody figure out the process. Anyways, the inspiration of this book was me just wanting to have a book with twists and turns, because where Jade starts at the beginning of the book and where she ends up, if you've read the book, but there's a lot of twists and turns in there, and a lot of unsuspecting paths. And I really wanted a book with a lot of twists and turns, good, gritty urban fantasy, and a queer cast. Those were the 3 things I really wanted, because that represented things I love, things my son loves, and things in our world. So Jade is a lesbian, her best friends are gay and trans and straight. And it's also a rainbow in that her friends are Black and Mexican and white, and it's the rainbow in every way I could comfortably write, represented in what I see in Wisconsin. And those were the inspirations behind me writing this book. I got done with it. It took a long time for me to figure out the editing, and what to do to get it published. And then eventually it got published on 12321 on December 3rd of 2021. So it took quite a while after it was written to get through all of the hoops to get it published. But in that time, my son and my friends and the people who I met along the way were like, you need to go do more. Where you ended is great, but we want to know more of Jade's story, which is how the one book became 6, 2 trilogies, her in high school, her in college. And then everybody wanted to know her sister's story, which is how the spin-off, Synagogue, Eugen, and Zephyr came about, because people really liked Jade's story, but they really wanted to know her sister's story as well. So here's the inspiration behind Jade Stone Chronicles.